that particular tendon is an interesting one because not all of us have it.
Right.
So that's called palmaris longus. It's not always used because it's a fairly thin, long tendon, but when we do have it, it can be used as a substitute for ligaments that are broken or for a pulley.
Is that what they call a sacrificial tendon?
Yes.
Is that because I've heard of that as an evolution argument, and people will say that it's like a evolutionary leftover, and that's why we can use it for surgery because not everyone has it, and we can take it and it's like, oh, it's fine without it. Like, what are your thoughts about that?
It is useful. Just because everyone doesn't have it doesn't mean that we've evolved to not have it. It's like saying not everyone has exactly the same look on the outside. We don't always have exactly the same look on the inside. And depending on which research you read, 8%, 10%, 15% of people don't have palmaris longus, or they don't have it on one hand, or they have it on another hand.
Yep.
So see, with you've got it, it's really easy. So you take your ring finger down and you put your thumb over it.
Yep.
And you pull your wrist up and you'll see quite clearly mine sticking out.
Yep.
Here.
Yep.
Next to it is flexor carpi radialis and flexor carpi ulnaris. And I've also got it quite clearly. You can see it on the other side. But let's test your hands.
You sort of got two. So
you've got it here quite nicely on you. But what about your other hand?
Let's have a look.
So interesting. You don't have it on this one.
Oh.
So you're one of those people who unilaterally don't have that tendon.
Yeah. And so like in terms of function, so again, like the evolutionists, they'll say, oh, it's useless. Why is it useful, you're saying, to actually have it?
Because it goes into part of the palmar fascia. So when you draw your hand up in this position, it helps to stabilize the base of the hand. So you can grip something firmly and not have whatever you're gripping wobble from beneath you.
Ah, yep.
But you obviously didn't even know you didn't even have one, and you haven't felt that you could lift less in your left hand than your right hand, or left in your right hand, that's the one that's absent.
Yep.
You wouldn't even know. And your grip strength is probably pretty similar.
Is that because other parts of my hand would compensate for that, for not having it?
Yeah, and they would have from birth.
Okay, right. So it's optimal and ideal to have everything.
Yes.
But the body, again, it's got enough ways to compensate for things when it's only like a little thing missing.
Yes.
Rather than,
They've done lots of studies on does it affect grip strength. And so it's a great study for undergraduate med students to run around and do this and see who's got one, who hasn't, and then measure everyone's grip strength.
Yep.
Some Indian fellows did that a few years ago. Some undergraduates, they got 240 of their mates, half of them female, half of them male, assessed who had palmaris longus, who didn't. They found that 92.5% of people had palmaris longus. Some of the women didn't, some of the men didn't. But if you evened all that out with their grip strength, you could not determine who had palmaris longus and who didn't by the grip strength.
Right. So that compensation overpowered the difference of like working out if you had it or not. Yeah. Okay.
I hope you're enjoying this interview so far. Creating content like this takes a considerable amount of time, effort, and resources. We're passionate about getting this message out, and we want to keep bringing you more videos like this one. But here's the thing, we need your help to make this happen. Your support, no matter how big or small, will help us cover our production costs and enable us to continue creating impactful content. To support this project, just use the link in the description below or the on-screen prompt. We're so thankful for your support.
I mean, that was really cool to be able to actually do a test to see if I had Are there any other things like that sacrificial tendon that some people have and some don't?
Some people have a tendon called a flexor digitorum superficialis that's either absent or tethered. So it has one common muscle belly and it becomes 4 tendons before the carpal tunnel and splits and inserts, I can show you on this guy here, inserts in our middle phalanx of each finger. To test whether you've got it, you hold all the other fingers straight and pull that one up. And you do your middle finger, it's nice and cool.
Yep.
And then you go to your ring finger, it's all good. And then if you go to your little finger, you've got it on that side, as have I. We go over the other side, index finger's fine, got it on the middle, I've got it on my ring, but I come to my little one.
So you can't bend it.
No. So it's either absent or mine's tethered to my ring finger.
Oh, okay.
Now, if I was a concert pianist or I needed them to work independently at the PIP joint level,
Yeah.
maybe I'd have surgery to get those two split.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not. And so I wouldn't even know that I had that as a bit of a disadvantage unless I went and tested myself. And that's just part of normal variation.
Right.
It's like, why does Ian Thorpe have size 17 feet? It gives an advantage in the pool.
It's great for for swimming, but you might trip over the doorstep a few times.
That's right. So we all look a bit different. We all have plus or minus a few bits, but we're still all human. It doesn't make you and me more or less because one tendon's tethered or one is absent.
Yeah, but like you said, still, if you do have those tendons there, if you're doing something very specific like playing an instrument which requires, is articulation the right word?
Because articulation, yeah.
Articulation.
Requires fine individual controlled movement. So when my little finger moves down, I can't move it without my ring finger. So that could be a bit of a deficit depending on what instrument I play. But I don't play a string instrument.
So it goes to show that there's still a functionality for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not useless,
No.
but it's not the end of the world if you don't have it. Your body compensates very well.
Yes.
Even though there are some specific things where you won't be able to use it, showing it does have function.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like saying we don't need all 10 fingers. Well, we don't, but pick one to not have. There was in Brisbane quite a few years ago, some people that tortured a bartender to get some information and they started hacking off his fingers.
Oh, yeah.
He was a muso. It was quite awful. So how many fingers could a muso do without? The thumb? No, thumb's really useful for opposition. The little finger, well, that's the other side. No, you use that for your handspan if you play the piano. What about middle finger? Well, that's really useful. It's our longest one. Index finger, thumb, and middle finger are used for a lot of precision work.
Yeah.
So, if I had a bully say to me, which finger would you like to lose? I'd probably nominate my ring finger.
Yeah.
But without my ring finger, change is going to fall out of my hand when I ask for change.
Yeah.
I'm going to have problems trying to wash my face and cup my hand.
Yeah.
You have to also get rid of the ray there as well. And then I would have a smaller span. So it's all of use and it's all beautifully balanced, but we can do without them.
Yeah.
That fellow was on Australia's Story, if people want to look that up.
Yeah.
And he went back to playing the clarinet. And that's a lovely story because there was a Sydney instrument maker who heard about this fellow and redesigned the levers on a clarinet so that fellow could graduate.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we can compensate, although having all 10 is the best.
That's so wonderful to hear about, just how much a difference it makes in your life to know that you're created by a wonderful God. Now, we've actually got a magazine, Creation Magazine, which has lots of more information about biology, astronomy, geology, all sorts of these topics, which people think contradict with the Bible. But when you actually look at the science properly, you realise that it just paints a wonderful picture of science working with the Bible in the timeline. So can you talk a little bit about Creation Magazine and why you found it helpful for yourself?
I really like reading it over breakfast because the articles are short and I always get something out of it. The articles I like the most are ones where some engineer has taken the design of something within nature and it's helped them make something. For example, I was reading a while ago about the person that designed the head of the bullet train took the design from one of the birds of prey. And I thought, that is so cool that we can realise how meaningful design is within nature to then help us with design in things that make our lives easier or better.
Fantastic. Oh, sounds like I have to look at article up on creation.com too. I haven't read that one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
There was one about, in a recent edition, about the elephant's ability to pinch with its nose, and that, of course, sparked my interest. And it can pinch with more of a pinch force than people can. And I just love the idea of, why not make the elephant have this cool ability to pinch things up with its trunk?
Yeah, it's like a hand in the nose.
Yeah, it is. The way it moves and sniffs and that, you think it is like a hand with a nose on it.
Very well
And
designed.
I love that sort of, why not do that?
Yeah.
God had a great sense of humour when he made things. And those creation articles just really bring out some of that amazing, why didn't I think of that? Why have the zebras got stripes and different patterns? Why do they always have to be the same? They don't. It just reminds me of the diversity and what fun the diversity is. Even in camouflage, there's been some great articles on camouflage. Like, why do some have spots and some have stripes? Well, just because God decided that would be a really good idea. So it's been a great magazine to look at.
Fantastic. Well, if people are really keen to get the magazine, we'll have a link in the description below. They can click on the link and that's a way they can sign up for the magazine. I think there's 4 issues every year, so you get them fairly regularly too.
We do, and there's enough to keep me going for multiple breakfasts for each edition, so I enjoy that.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for being here on the podcast. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honour.